facing the crowd. Now she's gone, no way of ever knowing. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she'd say. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Shopping in the hall, only empty spaces. Brand new kitchens, black and white. I feel the house is dying, and I'm inside. Now she's gone, no way of ever knowing. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she said. Don't cry for me, don't Every time I think of you, I just break down. I miss you more than I ever could Here's what she'd say. She said, don't cry. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she'd say. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Oh no, don't cry for me, don't cry. She said, don't Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. And it was quite a good effect there because I have the sound of the video. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the audio for Don't Cry was working there. So when I said hello, I got a bit of an echo. So it sounded like I was in a stadium. So to me, it sounded great. But to you, it'll just sound like the normal microphone. But anyway, I've turned that down now. So back in the room. Hello, everybody in that live chat room. Let's give you guys an early shout out tonight. We have Alison, Howard, Laugh Out Loud, Can, Tammy, PM112, Ro, Vera's in the house, Laura, Susie Q, Laura, Melissa, Leslie and TIGQ, Debbie, Cheryl, Mimi321, Terry, Frank, Billy, Tammy again, Kathy, Dawn, Rowe, Bob, Maria, Alison, and lots of other people coming through. Barbara's in there as well. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday night. And whenever I go live, I always think that I've forgotten to do something, or whenever I'm about to click the go live button, I'm always hovering over it thinking I've forgotten something. So it's always the case that we find out later on in the stream what I've forgotten. But we're going to start as we normally do by getting the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. So a massive thank you to you guys at the bottom of the screen. You know who you are. and they are over on patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, and that's where I am every night with either an update if there isn't a video, or I'll post the video if there is a particular analysis video on that evening. I post them all on Patreon as well. And let me get the link up on screen just in case you guys want to get involved yourselves. And you can join in over there just as a free member if you want to. So yeah, you can head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. And the song that we started with was my song called Don't Cry. And thank you guys for requesting that over on Patreon. This is what happens over there. Before every live stream, I just ask people what they want to hear, what they want to see in terms of a cover video and an originals video. So yeah, Don't Cry was the song for tonight. And you can head over to wingsofpegasus.com/music if you want to check out any of my music, download it, all that cool stuff. So let's get rid of that. Right, let's get the likes goal up on screen, because recently we've been hitting records on a Tuesday and a Saturday. And last Saturday we had a new record, which I think was 460, was it? I think it was actually, because I haven't changed this at the top of the screen. And Tuesday is always attempting to try and get what we got on Saturday. It's challenging, but we have managed to stick with Saturday's live streams over the last few weeks. So it's been a new record for a Tuesday, then a new record for a Saturday. Needless to say, I'm looking for every single thumbs up we can muster in order to get to 460 tonight, because it is a huge total, for especially for Tuesday night, but it will mean that it's a new record. So we'll see if we can get there, and let's get the like commenter up on screen. We have 202 so far, so that means 158 more thumbs up we are looking for before the end of the live stream. And I do know that it has now moved on a little bit, but I've done the maths, that's all done, and that's a little bit easier. 150, 250. So I was going to say, yeah, that makes it easier, but obviously it doesn't, because yeah, there's 200 between 2 and 400. The number's just too big for the likes, so that's what confuses me. I'm so used to seeing, yeah, we did it for so many years, trying to get to 300 and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 460, crazy. Anyway, that's the adjusted maths, as we say here in the UK, and you guys, I'm aware, say math over in the USA, but the maths for tonight is done. 460 is what we're looking for. So yeah, a lot more people, and 228 was that. I'm gonna quit while I'm behind with the maths for tonight. But anyway, as you come through the door, if you could hit the thumbs up, that would be great. Now, the other thing is that I can see there being a couple of donations in the super chat window. Thank you guys for those. As I always say, you don't have to donate. Just watching is fantastic. Maybe leaving a thumbs up, introduce yourself into that live chat room so that we all get to know each other in a live setting, so I can see your usernames and your pictures as well. In some cases you have pictures, and in other cases you have just a letter there, but I do occasionally get to show you guys up on screen. If you are Facebook users, you can head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. You can join in over there, upload any pictures of any merchandise that you might have, and here's a plug of the mug early doors on Tuesday night's live stream. If you want to get your hands on any merchandise, then head to the tray underneath this video. If there's not a tray underneath this video, then there's a link in the description below, so you can click on that and it will take you through to the spring.com store. So yeah, if you've got some merchandise, you can take a picture of yourself modeling it, or just of the merchandise, and then you can put that in that group, upload it to the Wings of Pegasus supporters page on Facebook, and then Laura will link me to it, and then we'll have a picture corner on a future live stream. No picture corner tonight, so that means that we've got a little bit more time, or at least in theory we should have a little bit more time towards the end of the live stream. That's if I don't know actually how long the fill jam is going to be, if we're going to have a fill jam, we need to hit the total of 460. So yeah, we need a lot of thumbs up to have a fill jam for tonight, but we will keep our fingers crossed and see if we can get anywhere close. So I'm going to jump into those 2 donations that happened, because it was Paul who donated $5. So thank you for that, Paul. And the message was, here we grow again. 359,000 subscribers. Let's have fun tonight and let's spike those likes. Probably on the catch-up crew tonight. So thank you for that, Paul. Which reminds me, because Paul just said it, we've now hit 359,000 subscribers. So thank you everyone for subscribing, hitting the notification bell, hitting the thumbs up, leaving comments, all of that stuff. It is much appreciated. It really does help the channel to grow, obviously, with people subscribing, but also helps videos to get out there a little bit more, and these live streams to get out there a little bit more, with more people watching and hitting the thumbs up and commenting. It's great to get the videos out there, but the live streams out there as well. So let's cut that off just like that, and we are going to be jumping into the PayPal window just after this donation I've seen from Steve. Thank you for this, Steve, and it's for $5, so thank you for that. And the message is, with good guitars like Strats / Les Pauls being handmade, can you feel the differences from, say, Strat to Strat? Does it affect your playing? So thank you for that, Steve. And yeah, I'm probably not the right person to ask this particular question, because yeah, I've had just one Strat for a very long time, which means that I wasn't playing lots of different Strats. So in terms of a Les Paul, I don't have a Les Paul either. So I was just very used to my Strat that I had when I was 18 or 19. I think that's when I got my first Strat. The second one that Fender sent to me was a lot later. That was probably maybe 6 years ago, something like that. So yes, obviously from one Strat to the next, I mean, one was made in 1986, I think it was, my first Strat. So yeah, that obviously feels a lot different to this, but I mean, I'm putting a lot of that down to just the change in technology. And yeah, this particular Strat, I say, is a lot easier to play than my Strat, but it's just kind of what you get used to. And in terms of knowing, say for example, I took this Strat and then I got another Performer Series Strat and played that, and played another one and another one and another one. You'd need quite a lot of time with each of those guitars just to see how they stack up next to each other, and see when you're then comparing them to other Strats that might be a little bit older. I think there's always going to be a difference between the ages of guitars, but when you're talking about guitars nowadays that aren't handmade, then they're replicated in such a way that they tend to just be the same guitars, almost like a clone from one to the next. But I would like to think that anything handmade is going to have a little bit more attention to detail, and therefore will be a better product because it's had a little bit more care taken with it. For example, if you're just looking at guitars coming off a conveyor belt, they can all potentially be the same, but it means that if there's anything that's ever so slightly wrong, you're going to get that in every single guitar. So yeah, I'm sure the quality control is really high. I mean, it has to be. But I just like the idea that handmade guitars are going to just be a little bit better made, at least, but probably be a little bit more reliable, probably last a little bit longer, that kind of thing. Obviously, you need to take care of it yourself. But yeah, if somebody offered me the option of having a handmade guitar or a machine-made guitar, then I'd probably go for the handmade guitar every time. As long as the person making it spent some time on it and wasn't rushed, I just wanted to complete it quickly. So that's it. I mean, it's all attention to detail. But yeah, as I said, I don't think that I'd have to... well, I think I would have to have played lots of guitars in order to be able to have an authority on it to say, right, this is my experience playing lots of different guitars, but I haven't done that. So, but thank you, Steve, for the question. We are going to be jumping into the PayPal window as well. Thank you guys for those donations. And like I said, you don't have to donate, and I know that a lot of people can't resist it. So that's why I do put up on screen between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, and there's one of those in the description below. But thank you for this donation that came through right at the end of the last live stream. I think after we finished, actually, it was just a couple of minutes past midnight. But thank you for this. Actually, that would have been 2 minutes past. Well, we didn't. I don't think I addressed this in the last live stream. I'm going to address it anyway, but this came through on Sunday morning, 2 minutes past midnight. This is what the Outlook server says, but I know that it doesn't. I'm not sure that it's my time zone. So the times that it gives me, those weren't the times of the donations. Anyway, Tanya donated £15.29. So thank you for that, Tanya. And the message is, happy belated birthday, Phil. Stay safe and sane in this crazy world. And remember, where there is life, there is always hope. So thank you for that, Tanya. And that reminds me of a quote that I don't know what it's from, but it says, even the word hopeless has hope in it. Which is technically true. So there you go. It might be a comedy film of some sort that's from. But anyway, Stephen donated £5. Thank you for that, Stephen. And the message is, hey, Phil, I realise it's a subjective question, but in your opinion, do you consider George Michael or Freddie Mercury to have been the better vocalist? Cheers, Zen Hombre. So thank you for that, Stephen. And yeah, I mean, it's always going to be impossible to say that one singer's better than another singer, or one guitarist is better than another guitarist. It's all down to, what you're into, and yeah, the person that communicates to you on a personal level with their vocals. And with Freddie Mercury and George Michael, I mean, both totally unique vocalists. I'd say that Freddie, from a performance standpoint, obviously was just a natural performer and a natural front man, showman, all that kind of stuff in the band setting. And George Michael was, I'd say, a little bit more understated, but then again, going back to Wham, just it wasn't as if they were a band playing, drums and guitar and bass. They were supported by a band, but then it's just two guys on stage, so they had to be entertaining in order to maintain the attention of the crowd. So yeah, I mean, I think George Michael for me would probably, I'm just trying to think, he would probably just about nick it from a pitch perspective. Again, not that makes one person better than the other, but I mean, he was so solid vocally that every single performance would just sound pitch perfect and would sound exactly like the recording. And when you're talking about Freddie Mercury, he had a kind of energy that every performance would be like the record, but it would have a different kind of energy about it. So I think two different takes on live performances that George Michael, you could just go and, just know that he's going to absolutely nail the vocal to the studio, or to the studio version. But then Freddie Mercury, you knew that you were going to get a great vocal performance, but also he could do something totally different because they're putting on a show. And this is another thing, that because of all the running around and all the stuff that Freddie Mercury did, and the fact that actually Freddie did a lot of belting. So it means that he's right at the top end of his chest voice. And when you do that kind of thing night after night after night after night, it can take a toll on the vocal cords. And it's something that means he would change vocal lines, so he's not going to sing exactly what he did in the studio because he's saving his voice, or at least trying to minimize damage, because he was very much a physical performer. And air, breath support, getting enough breath in and using that air is something that Freddie would have had to, I think, watch a lot more than George Michael would have done. Because I think George, when I'm talking about George Michael, I'm talking about his solo career rather than with Wham. But George Michael would be very much more stationary on stage, but Freddie Mercury would literally run from one side of the stage to the next in literally kind of 5 seconds. So he had a lot of breathing to try and organise. So I can't decide between them, but you've got just two different approaches to live performances. George Michael would just be absolutely spot on all the time, and Freddie Mercury might change particular vocals, but it's because he's doing a lot of running and managing his air, and also saving his vocal cords for those high notes and the belting. And this is something that George Michael, when he used to sing, he did flip up into his head voice quite a lot, so he wouldn't always be belting. So just from a technique perspective, and I don't want this answer to go on for ages, but it's always interesting to compare voices, because George Michael, say for example he's hitting a C5, that's something that he would generally, more often than not, because of the style of music, he would flip into his head voice, which means that it's a lot lighter. Freddie Mercury would belt that out, which means it'd be right at the top end of his chest voice, which means it's a hell of a lot of effort to get his vocal up that high with that amount of body. So this is why Freddie Mercury's vocals would have suffered more night after night, and suffered more than George Michael's vocal, is because George would hand it off, make it lighter. So rather than belting a high note, he would hit it in a lighter head voice, because that was just his style, and that's how he sang it in the studio. But of course, Freddie would have belted it in the studio, so then live he's belting it as well. So anyway, thank you for that, Stephen. And there's been, another donation that's come through from Hannah for £5. So thank you for that, Hannah. And the message is birthday treat. So thank you for that. And there's been another donation that has come through from Amy for £7.68. So thank you for that, Amy. And this does have a long message with it, but I'll try and get through it. Hair in the watch. Right, I'll try and get through it. And the message is, hi Phil. Your original music is really, really good. In the future, when you're not so crazy busy, do you see yourself writing and recording new music? Sorry if this is a repeat question you've answered in previous live streams, but I'm still new-ish, in brackets, to the channel and was curious. I also figured since you have so many new subscribers that they may be curious about it too. Amy, so thank you for that, Amy. And I mean, possibly in the future, at the moment, I mean, there's so many things kicking off all at the same time that every day is just spent trying to keep up with everything. But it can be something that I can do in the future if I do get more time, if my schedule gets a gap in it somewhere. But at the moment, I mean, I've got things going on that I'm not even telling people about. Kind of a couple of other projects in the back, actually 3 other projects in the background that I'm close to. I mean, one of them I'm in control of, so I can mention that, and I might do that in the future, maybe relatively soon on the channel. But then I've got a couple of other things that I've been contacted about, and actually 4 things, because we've got this podcast with Ryan Roxy, and we're going to be doing that probably at the beginning of next month, because Ryan is touring in Australia at the moment. So it might be easier to organise that once he's finished his tour over there. But so that's 4 things, all in addition to everything that I'm doing that is just keeping up with the channel and the videos and the comments and the emails and all that kind of stuff. So at the moment, the music writing and recording, that does take a very long time. It took me, I think, between 6 and 8 months to do my album, because I do everything myself. This is another thing that people might not necessarily appreciate, that I'm doing everything, including setting up this stream, putting all the things on screen that we have. And it means that when I come to do songs and record, because it's me doing everything, obviously if you've got 4 or 5 people that are helping with that, and you might even have a producer, so it means that if you're in a band, you can just play what you play, and then the producer does his job. Whereas, I do the job of everybody. And once it's recorded, I then do the job of everybody at a record label. So, yeah, there you go. And of a film crew, and, lighting people and all that kind of stuff for videos, and, for my YouTube videos as well. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot of jobs that should be done by lots of different people, but it's me doing it all. So, yeah, I'm very busy with it, but I think if you want a job done properly, do it yourself. So I've applied that to literally every job that you need to get music out there, but also just to record the music in the first place. But thank you for that, Amy. And Tammy has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, "Hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 359,000 subscribers. What do you like/dislike the most about being a professional musician/singer? Rock." So thank you for that, Tammy. And technically, I guess because people buy my music and that's my income, I guess technically I am a professional singer, but because I don't know, because I sing my own music and I have done covers and things, but I never really consider myself a singer. I consider myself a guitarist first, who's then learned to sing. So I don't really think there's much that I can dislike about being a musician/singer, because I always just wanted to be able to do music full time and just do things that I enjoyed doing. And teaching guitar for almost 20 years, it was something that I didn't mind doing, and it was great that I could play the guitar and to kind of teach people how to do it, but it wasn't something that fulfilled me from that musical perspective, because you're always just doing what other people want to learn, which is fine because that's your job as a guitar teacher, but it means that you're constantly working out people's solos, and sometimes if it's something that's really technical, and I've said before about learning technical pieces that are fingerstyle, you have to sit down, you have to learn that in order to teach a student it. And I did have some quite advanced students, so that they wanted to learn things that were quite advanced, fingerstyle wise. So sitting down for maybe half an hour or an hour and learning a particular piece and then having to teach somebody it was just fine for teaching, but a lot of the teaching happened outside, or a lot of the work for teaching happens outside the teaching room for the half an hour or an hour that you are teaching. So you've got to spend time away and tabbing it up as well, because there are so many resources online that are wrong, that are tabbing, that they're giving you a tab, and tab is like a simpler form of musical I would say it's not really writing and having musical tablature. It's tab, but with numbers. So you write down the numbers of the frets on the guitars. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about if you play guitar. But it's just having numbers so the student knows where to put his fingers. So it's not like music notation. It's something called tab, T-A-B. So I guess it's called music tablature, but it's not music notation. If you know the difference between those things, then being able to read music, that isn't the same as being able to read tab, because tab is telling you the frets and which string that you need to put your finger on and the number of the fret. So it means say for example, on the E string, and it's all labelled on tab, on the E string it might have a number 5 there, which means you place a finger on the 5th fret of that particular string. So anyway, getting back to the point, it means that I had to kind of draw all that out, and it means if you're doing something technical and you're putting in the slides and the vibrato and maybe a pinched harmonic, all that kind of stuff, or natural harmonics, artificial harmonics, you have to write all these things in. So it does take a very long time, and a lot of time outside of the classroom to then go in and teach the person what they want to learn. But anyway, all of that meant that I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, and just enjoying what I'm doing is a huge part of it, and I can't really complain about doing something that I enjoy doing. It takes a long time to get there, and you might not necessarily enjoy doing the things that you need to do in order to get there, but that's all part of it. That's part of the journey. So yeah, if you really want to get somewhere, I think no matter how long it takes, no matter how much you have to do, you will get there in the end. And this is where I always go back to this thing that a lot of people say, and loads of musicians have said it to me, and in auditions in the past when I've been auditioning for different bands that I was in, and I might be looking for a singer or a bassist or a guitarist, and they'd always say, I'll do anything to be a musician or to make it in the music industry. And they always think that it's a one-off thing. So it'll be like, I'll do anything to make it as a musician. And they're expecting somebody to say, okay, we'll do 100 press-ups and then you'll make it. But that's not what the answer is. When people say, I'll do anything, the answer is, okay, well, if you will do anything, spend 6 hours a day doing it. Even if you work 8 hours a day, spend the other 6 hours doing this, like trying to work for it, and do that for the rest of your life until you make it. But then people say, I'll do anything, but well, it's a bit like Meatloaf. I'll do anything, but I won't do that. Is once they realize what it's going to take, it puts a lot of people off because it's too difficult. And I think you just have that mindset that eventually you will get there, but it's the journey there, you might not like it. And that's why not everybody gets to that point. It's because a lot of people think, well, no, I'm not doing that. That's just a bit too extreme to literally spend all of your time outside of when you're doing your work to then focus on setting up a website, recording your own music, producing. My album, I did all of that at the same time that I was teaching. So it's all, as soon as I stopped teaching, that was the end of teaching. Right now, let's get into the producing or the recording of backing vocals or something like that. It'll be an immediate switch over, and maybe eat a pot noodle because it takes 2 minutes to make, but it means that you can eat something and still work on what you're doing. Until then, you go into bed and then you start exactly the same thing the next day. So you might not enjoy that bit, but when you get there, I think it means that you appreciate it a hell of a lot more because you know what it was like to get to that point and all of the hours that you put in. So for me, it was, I was in my first cover band when I was 19. So, and I'd say it was, probably about 15 to 17 years of just working away at it, day in, day out. And then, after that kind of 17-year period, things then started to take off. So, it's quite a long time, but you've got to be prepared for it. And, you've got to, when you say you'll do anything for it, you've literally got to be willing to do anything for it, no matter how long it takes. But anyway, thank you for that, Tammy. Long answer to that question. But Debbie has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Debbie. And the message is, hi, Phil. Congrats on 359,000 subscribers. The Michael Jackson video was very interesting. Do we know why he did so many takes of the chorus? You're amazing. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And he was doing something called multi-tracking. So this is something that generally for Michael Jackson's studio sessions, he'd be doing that to get almost like a crowd sound or just a lot thicker vocal sound than just one of his voices. So this was for We Are the World, if I remember correctly, but he was just singing the same chorus line over and over and over and over again. So you'd have the lead vocal, which would be the focus, but then you'd have, in this particular case, they might even done more of these takes, but we got to see him sing it 6 times. So those 6 vocal takes are going to be all added together, and this is why it works. And you can do multi-track vocals and do multiple takes and then stick them all together, because nobody can ever sing exactly the same thing twice, so they don't clash as audio files. If you were to take the same audio file and put it on top of another one, that's just now going to clip because the volume's just going to go off the scale because it's exactly the same peaks all the time. So you'd have to offset it. If you move the audio file slightly, then the peaks happen at a different time, therefore they're not added to each other. But anyway, if you just do separate vocal takes, like 6 for example, like Michael did in that video, it means that you can add those all together and you'll get a fuller sound. It means that you can now pan maybe 2 vocals left, 2 vocals right, and 2 vocals halfway between center and left and right. So you're now getting more of a surround sound of lots of different voices. And with that particular song, I think they recorded I think they all recorded their voices at the same time. I can remember seeing loads of people all together the same day in the studio, and they had mics set up and everybody sang the chorus. I believe I remember seeing a video of that. So it meant that Michael was doing lots of his voice and we had the voices of all the other vocalists there as well. So it's just multi-tracking, getting a thicker sound. So that's why Michael was doing that. And yeah, I mean, pretty much every take that he did sounded really similar, but as we know for the analysis video, it can never be exactly the same with hitting the pitch exactly the same way every single time. But thank you for that, Debbie. And Connie has donated £12.34. So thank you for that, Connie. And the message is, hi Phil, great idea to have the bat phone. The downside is that if you are like me, you now have 3 phones to misplace. Peace, love and rock, Connie. So thank you for that, Connie. And yeah, I mean, the other phones that I've got at the moment, they're still in their boxes. I've got my new phone here, which is the one that, you know, it just has my number on. So it's the one that I've used for anything and everything ever. But the other 2 phones, yeah, currently are still in their boxes. I've still got to set that up because that's one of my side projects that I'm working on at the moment where I will need separate phone lines in order to organize that. But yeah, I'll let you guys know about that in the future, but this is why everything's so busy at the moment, just keeping up with everything. So thank you for that, Connie. We're up to date in that PayPal window, so thank you guys for those donations. And Gary has donated £10 as well, so thank you for that, Gary. And it's Gary IOW, I think that says, or maybe low. So thank you for the message as well that says, have a beer or 2 on me. I love your analysis videos. So thank you for that. And it means that I'll be having maybe some squash or some grape juice, something like that, because yeah, I don't drink alcohol. I just don't like the taste of alcohol. For some reason, my body just, doesn't. It's just the aftertaste. Sometimes you can drink something, and my sister said, oh, Phil, you got to try this. It's really nice. And I had a drink of it, and it's just an instant thing that I drink it, and I might be hit with whatever the flavour is. So it might be something like, I don't know what this was, maybe lemon or lime or something, but it wasn't bitter. But I had a taste of it, but then the alcohol kicks in, and it kind of just makes my mouth go, ugh, you know. I have to then wash out my mouth because of the alcohol aftertaste. So yeah, I don't know what it is, and it's been the same with everything really. I can just about deal with. I tell you, the thing that I can deal with from an alcohol perspective is what you have at Christmas, and it has cinnamon in and mulled wine. That's what it's called. So it has a different kind of taste to it, and I can just about deal with that because it's warm as well. Or was it hot? But anyway, I don't have a lot of it, but just a quick taste of that, I can deal with that. But I don't know, the thought of sitting down and drinking lots of either that or another alcoholic beverage, I just don't like it. It's a case of drinking because other people might have it and I'll have just a tiny bit to join in. But yeah, I don't particularly enjoy drinking alcohol. And I think on the plus side, it does mean that I keep my low body fat percentage, because I think a lot of people do put on a lot of weight, and just the calorific content from alcohol is a lot, especially when you're talking about drinking pints of a particular beverage. So yeah, I think it helps with keeping in shape and keeping physically fit and all that kind of stuff. So but thank you for that, Gary. I will use it for something else. I mean, £10, again, I don't know how much a pint costs. Maybe that's just a few pints nowadays. Maybe they're £2 or £3. I don't know. So it's an expensive expensive drink as well. But I mean, I could get quite a lot of Robinson's squash for that, and we're talking about a litre, and then a little bit of squash means you can have about a pint of squash, but you only need a little bit in the pint glass. So yeah, that'll last a very long time. Thank you for that, Gary. And Daisy has donated $10. Thank you for that, Daisy. And the message is, hi Phil, speaking of doing everything, how many instruments do you play, and which one besides guitar is your fave? So thank you for that, Daisy. And well, obviously guitar, bass on my album. Guitar, bass and keys. I have a MIDI keyboard that I play. We had Knowlesy was on drums, so that's something about my album, because I say Knowlesy. James Knowles is his name. He was on my album because he used to be in my band, so we'd be out playing very regularly out in London and the surrounding area, around Maidenhead. So it meant that he had the set down, and it was going to be a lot. Well, I just liked his drumming as well. He could definitely drum better than I could and can. So yeah, I just got him in the studio just for a day, and it's probably maybe an hour or a couple of hours that we spent getting down the drums for the album, because he knew the set. So we were playing these songs, night after night. So it wasn't something that it took a long time for somebody to have to learn. So he could just come in, play as if we're just doing the set, and we could record it, and that was then the drums done. So yeah, is a lot more. Well, first of all, it was a lot more beneficial for his ability at playing the drums, but then also just for recording. So yeah, that's something that I had him do for me on the album. And yeah, for the cover videos, then yeah, the drums on those are very basic, so it's something that I can get away with. But yeah, in terms of enjoying playing other instruments, I don't know, I still just play my guitar. Like if I have any time to practice anything, I generally just grab my guitar. So I think that's probably just because I'm a guitarist first, and anything else I've kind of learnt to a point where I can get away with it. But yeah, I always just tend to pick up the guitar. I say the vocal cords are my probably second favorite instrument, because yeah, those are things that take work all the time in order to try and just figure out how to use the voice the most efficient way possible. And it is like a lifetime pursuit in order to try and figure out your voice. And yeah, it's something that still I haven't done, and it's something that I do still try and do on a daily basis, trying to figure it out, trying to get better at singing, and trying to release and sing with less strain and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something that I probably practice first vocals, and then second guitar. And a lot of that guitar practice is sacrificed to, because of singing. And I have said that that there are some people that just play the guitar, and that's absolutely fine, but it's very difficult, especially if you're learning to sing from scratch, to sing to a high level, because vocal cords aren't tuned. You got to try and work at it as best you can, and then try and sing as best you can with technique, and be accurate vocally, unless you can use technology, in which case if you're using auto-tune or pitch correction, then you don't have to spend as long working at pitch. But for me, certainly is something that I wanted to be able to nail myself, be able to sing the notes accurately. But thank you for that, Connie. And Tracy has donated £5 as well. So thank you for that, Tracy. And that is a straight up donation. So thank you for that. Right. I am going to be jumping into the cover video relatively soon, because it's just gone midnight here in the UK. And quick shout out to that likeometer, which is at 377. We're looking for 460 tonight, which is, it will be a new record for a Tuesday night. It is a huge total. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, that'd be massively appreciated if you could do, to get a spike of the likes going on at midnight here in the UK. Because if we do hit that target, then we will have Phil Jam number 129. I'm sure we'll get there to 150 or 159, but we're looking for number 129, and still got a little way to go for that. Is it 81 more likes, something like that? Yeah, if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. And just to mention that tonight's cover video, the vote is between Lay It on the Line and another one. The Boys Are Back in Town. So yeah, I have to try and find it on the screen. I know that it's at the top of the live chat room, and it's The Boys Are Back in Town that has 61% of the vote. So there you go. And the other one, I assure you, is Lay It on the Line. I think that one was requested quite a lot over on Patreon for some reason, but yeah, it looks like it might lose out to The Boys Are Back in Town at the moment. We'll see if we can have a little flip of that, but just vote for whichever one you want to see. Now, I wonder whether, I mean, I know that The Boys Are Back in Town is in the lead. I'm just wondering whether we should jump straight into it now, which will then leave us a little bit more time to maybe have a fill tune or a riff of the week, because the riff of the week is now down to not very many left. So somebody will have to get lucky for getting the particular number that we will look at. There isn't going to be a troll corner tonight, because I can't remember any troll-like comments recently. And I think it might be because the first video that I did on the Eagles and showing that it was a backing tracked vocal that was being mimed to, or kind of lip sync to, whatever you want to call it, I did a follow-up video to that explaining and showing the software and the kind of detail that we're looking at things in. And the video on Sunday was Michael Jackson singing the same phrase 6 times, as we've already covered in this live stream, to show that when I say he sang the same phrase 6 times, he sang the whole chorus. But we looked at 2 words just to show the level of detail that we're looking at something in. So I think the people that were maybe saying, oh, it's not proof, and he's been singing it for 50 years, so of course he can sing exactly the same thing over and over, night after night, from one year to the next. People didn't realise the detail that we were looking at it in. So when I've now done these follow-up videos, maybe those people have realised, oh, it is maybe a bit silly to say that he's doing exactly the same thing with his voice from one year to the next to a millisecond pitch-wise. Because, yeah, if Michael Jackson can't sing the same thing in front of a microphone like this, he was literally just in front of a microphone trying to sing the same thing. And he couldn't get his, he couldn't get his voice to go over the top of his own voice. That's what he's trying to do. But when we look at it in detail, you can see that every single take was different. So to then say that, yeah, Don Henley is going over the top of his vocal that he did over a year ago, and not only that, he's managed to do that 4 times in the 4 separate performances, then it just, yeah, I think maybe the trolls thought, oh, okay, we now understand what the person, i.e. me, is demonstrating on screen, that it is the same audio file, and that's the only explanation for it. When you know, and with the ambient noise as well, when you drag one vocal over the top of the other and the lines are matching up, there's no other explanation for it. And especially with those 4 that we looked at, you know, like all on the same screen, dragging one over the next. Yeah, so I think a lot of the trolls have now realised that, yeah, maybe their comments, they didn't really understand what they were looking at, or didn't understand my video. But that happens quite a lot, where people make a comment on my video and they're saying something that I say in the video. So maybe they don't watch it the whole way through, or they only watch maybe the first 5 minutes of like a 20-minute video. But yeah, they mention something and I say, yes, that's what I'm saying in the video. So yeah, anyway, there has been another donation that's come through. So thank you for this, Laura, who has donated £10. So thank you for that. And I can see that it says that this came through at 48 minutes past 10. So that means that the Outlook server is an hour in the past, time zone wise. So yeah, thank you for that, Laura. And the message is, Phil, you have a wonderful family. Do you think that you would be as successful as you are without their support? So thank you for that. And I'd probably say no because they've never stopped me from doing what I want to do. And I know that some families and parents say that, right, you're going to do this and you've got to do that. And I'm just thinking about guitar students that I've taught where it's clearly the parents that want the kid to learn, but the kid doesn't really want to play the guitar. They're not bothered about it at all. And you can tell that, lesson after lesson, they're not interested in it. And it's just the parents that want them to learn. Because maybe the parents want their child to be, either a musician or to be able to read music and all that kind of stuff, because it's something that they would have wanted to do as a kid. But I'm lucky that my parents didn't say, right, you've got to do this or you've got to do that or you've got to make a choice. So I was pretty much free to choose what I wanted to do, and it was about the enjoyment. And I think even if from a young age, if I was pushed into doing guitar, I might not have enjoyed it. And I didn't enjoy music lessons at school because of the way that they were carried out. It was just something I wasn't interested in at all. It was like we each had, well, I said we each had a keyboard. We had to get in either a pair or threes, and we shared a keyboard. And the keyboard, we didn't really do anything on it apart from having music notation on a stand. And of course we couldn't read music, so we didn't know what all that was about, and it was just boring because we just had to, it's just the music teacher just spoke about music and what was what, and I didn't learn anything. I literally learned nothing from my music lessons at school. But during break time, when I was maybe 12 or 13, there were other students at the school who had guitar lessons, so they brought their guitars into school, and I didn't have a guitar at that point. So I would sneak into the music room during break times and I would play on a guitar of somebody else's and then put it away. So that's something that I used to sneak in and do. And obviously I just wanted to play the guitar and I didn't have the guitar. So that's something that I enjoyed doing, and I knew that I enjoyed doing it. So there you go. That was something that I think if I'd been forced to try and do it and somebody said, right, now you've got to sit down and before you even learn to play the guitar, we're going to learn how to read music, I wouldn't have enjoyed that at all. Because, now it's great because with hindsight, I now know that music isn't written down. You create it first and then somebody else writes it down. If you write your own song, then somebody else... and if you've got an album and it does very well, somebody else will write a book for you, writing down what you did. You don't have to write it in the first place. So, it's very much put me on the path that I have been. My whole music career is that it's always been about creation first. And if people want to write it down, great, good for them. But I'm very much just about creating first, and that's what I think great musicians do. And like I always say, when we learn to speak our language, we don't learn to write it first. And you haven't got babies who are like 1 year old or like 2 years old writing it all down first, and then they read it and go, oh right, now I can talk the language, so your name is Mama because that's what I'm reading here. They don't do that. It's not how music is a language. So the people that can just speak it fluently, often can't even learn, they haven't learned, but they can't even write it down. And they can't read music, but they can speak the language of it. Often the greatest musicians have that ability to just be able to talk that language and connect to an audience. So anyway, thank you for that, Laura. And Vera has donated £3.85. Thank you for that, Vera. And the message is, Phil, this is not music related, but I just noticed that your facial hair actually resembles a pair of wings. How appropriate for you. You are actually a winged one. Has anyone else ever noticed that or told you that? Hugs. So thank you for that. And no, I don't actually know what part you're referring to, but I don't know, maybe these bits here? I don't know. But somebody did say, and I might have mentioned this before, they said, why do you only shave these bits of your face? And I don't. It's just where I think it's relatively random from one person to the next person where their facial hair grows, and I have a little bit on the sides here, but it's mostly around my chin and kind of maybe moustache if I wanted to grow that. So yeah, this facial hair isn't something I designed, it's all natural. And this is another thing that some guys, I mean, they're properly shaving from like the age of maybe 15 or 16, when they're at school. But I still don't shave every day, and I'm in my 40s. So I think it's just totally different from one person to the next. Like with this length of stubble, which is getting quite long now, it should be across my whole face, but it's just not the way that it grows. And it doesn't grow down my neck. Other people have to shave their neck because it grows that far. And as people will know from my That's Metal video, I don't have hairy chest or anything like that. It's and I think maybe the face is a good indicator of that. So if you have a lot of hair on your face, like a full beard, and maybe a lot on your neck, maybe you have more chest hair. I don't know whether that's a thing. Obviously it's advantageous for me because I know that a lot of people that do have hair on their bodies, like, they wax it off or stuff like that. Not something that I would be doing, or thankfully I don't have to do it. But I feel for those people that maybe have to do that because they don't like the fact that they've got a lot of body hair. But it's not something. All the hair I've got, you can see it on screen. so but not so much on the face. And it's interesting that actually people that do shave their head, or maybe they've lost a lot of their hair, then grow a beard. So it's like they kind of swap it out for one thing. But that's another thing. I can't grow a beard, like a thick beard. It just does its own thing. But anyway, thank you for that, Vera. Right, we are going to be jumping into tonight's cover video, which is going to be The Boys Are Back in Town. So let me end that poll. And I think it was 61%, something like that. And it was 60%. That was the winning percentage in the end. The Boys Are Back in Town. Obviously, this is going to be my version of it. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock! And there we have it. So that was my version of The Boys Are Back in Town. Of course, the Thin Lizzy classic, I think I saw in the comments, well, in the live chat room, not the comments, technically they're all comments, but I saw in there that somebody said they liked my highlights or something like that in my hair. So thank you for that. And I don't know whether, I don't have highlights in my hair. It's just entirely random as to the colour. And I don't know, I can't really see. But look, like this bit back here is like dark hair, and this bit at the top is like light hair, and probably a little bit grey hair at the back, but that always kind of happens in this place. And then everything else, I think it's just the lighting that just catches different hairs at different points. But I think that different hairs have different colours, and that's just a natural thing. And that's what my mum said, because I said, that my hairs looks like it's different colours under different lights. And that's something that's happened on the channel for a very long time, especially when I got a new camera. And maybe it's the detail of the camera being more detailed, but maybe the resolution being more detailed, you see more colours, or maybe the colours are a truer representation of my actual hair. I don't know. But anyway, I don't have my hair highlighted, I just have it cut. So but thank you for those comments. So it's like the face. It's just a natural thing that happens, and I don't know whether hairs get lighter before they go grey, but hopefully they don't, because I think there are some hairs that are lighter than other hairs. So, but we will see. Anyway, just to address that particular comment in the live chat room, the other thing is that we have had a couple of donations in the PayPal window. Oh, and we're looking for 23 more people to hit that thumbs up in order to get the Phil Jam going. Oh, Kathy says, yes, Phil, that's what we mean about highlights. It's natural. Okay, so I'm assuming that people have highlights put in their hair. But anyway, there are like footballers who have bits of blonde, like they've got dark hair, but there's bits that are blonde that are, I've always called those highlights, or I've always thought that those are called highlights. So it's something that I attribute to having it done by somebody else. But anyway, so the highlights can be a natural thing, seemingly. But thank you to Tordo Porco, who's donated $5. So thank you for that. In the super chat window, the message is, if we ever have a meet and greet, it should be with you outdoors, listening to you busking in London or Maidenhead. So thank you for that. And I mean, generally in London, you need to get a license in order to do that. Well, you do on the underground. You might be able to get away with it, but maybe if lots of people turn up, I wouldn't be able to get away with it, because the police would say, what are you doing? And I'll say, well, I'm just busking. And they'll say, can we see your license? And I'll say no and run off. But I mean, doing it in Maidenhead, you'd probably be a lot more likely to get away with it. But we'll see. We'll see if we can do something a little bit more extravagant than just busking. I'm sure we can get something in the future, something organised. But anyway, we'll get there when we get there. Thank you for that, Tortoro Porco. And we've had these donations, which I will get to quickly. David donated £7.70. So thank you for that, David. And David says, great programming. So thank you for that. And all of the videos that I do on the channel are just requested videos. So I'm not particularly, choosing which artist to do. It's just something that I'm getting through and people are choosing. So in terms of, getting the programs and one that follows the next, I know that recently we have had a lot of videos kind of on pitch correction and auto-tune, but that's just really the nature of the music industry at the moment. If I am covering more recent performances, then I am going to have to point out things about pitch correction and auto tune. But yeah, in terms of which analysis or program follows the next, it's just something that happens organically through the analysis videos due to them all being requested. But thank you for that, David. And Ed has donated £15.39. So thank you for that, Ed. And the message is, Dear Phil, I can jam vocally with any song. Is your ability to sing through your guitar something you got through scales and repetition and singing along? Best, Ed C. So thank you for that. And we're looking for 4 more likes to have the Phil Jam, which is, where we just have a backing track and I attempt to sing through my guitar along to the backing track. Because, it's exactly that thing, is when you're singing along to any backing, my theory was always, well, why shouldn't I be able to do that through the guitar, through the instruments? That's just what I focused on. And I'd say that what I started with, or in order to get used to that, I first got my head around the difference between the sound of a semitone and a tone. So that when I was singing in my head or playing a note on the guitar, I could sing the note that would either be a semitone or a tone, so like 1 fret or 2 frets, above or below the note that I was playing. Because I thought, right, if I can now learn this instrument, the sound of it, then if I've got a note in my head that I play and now I'm singing another note, I've got to know where that note is in relation to where I am. So it's kind of building that relationship of being able to play your guitar. And a great exercise for this, just going up and down one string. So whatever, say for example there's a song that you're listening to, just choose one string and try and go up and down the fretboard without playing a wrong note, because you know what it's going to sound like before you get there with a semitone or a tone. So you'll be able to do that on any string. So anyway, we have just hit, but thank you for that, Ed, for the donation and the question. It is an interesting question, because in order to sing through your guitar, you need to be able to know where the notes are that you're singing. And once you start building that relationship, then you start to do it subconsciously, so that the notes that you're singing in your head, you are playing, because you'll know where they all are. So thank you for that, Ed. Right, we are going to be having a go at attempting to do that very thing. So thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up. You can keep on doing that. If you're watching this in the future on catch up, then you can hit that thumbs up. It all really does help the channel to grow and for this live stream to get out there. But we're going to be jumping into this and turning on the mic and heading over to number 100. Oh, it's 130. So I've had that wrong all along in the in the live stream to begin with. I don't know. Well, I should probably change it now so that next time I'm not putting in the wrong number again. And where is it? Oh, don't ask me if I want to update the software. Not now. Remind me later. Click on that. And this is Phil Jam number 130. So that's the one that we're going to be having. But thank you, Joe, for sending number 130 over to me. It's Strat or Telly. It's going to be the Strat because the Telly is not here. And clean and reverb has an end. Don't forget amp mic. Y'all. So thank you for that, Joe. Right, so mic on. And this in position about. Well, if it's just a clean one, let me just actually click on what it is. Get everything ready.
Building your online business?
No. So let me just skip that. And waiting for the advert. So this is, what is this? Oh, this is Honky Tonk Country Jam backing track in G, 134 beats per minute for you tempo freaks. And this is still the title, guitar backing track. So it's Honky Tonk Country Jam backing track in G, 134 BPM, guitar backing track from MJ's Backing Tracks. That's the name of the channel. So this is a capital M, a capital J, apostrophe S, backing tracks. And, oh, zoom out. Have we had Honky Tonk before? This is definitely not in my wheelhouse. But this is the point that we're going to be just doing our best with it. So let's have a listen to this. As for the levels, let me know, guys, like how it sounds, whether it's going to be, guitar louder, backing track louder. Let's have a listen. See if I can put it through. So can you hear this? You can let me know if you can hear this. I can actually hear it. How long is this? Or how long this is? Okay. Oh wow, it's almost 6 minutes, so we've got maybe a minute more left. Let me see if I can do some wah-wah. Maybe get this going. It's moving. And we've got the things on screen. Yes! The reason I'm saying yes is because the things are changing on the screen. So I thought, well, is it going to end at some point? And I took a bit of a random gamble that we're going to end on the G, because sometimes it doesn't resolve, but that kind of got away with it. So there we go. Honky Tonk Country Jam. Now the thing is, especially about country music, it's one of those genres where generally you have loads and loads and loads of subconscious lines that you're playing through, especially in particular keys, and G is one of those that I know a lot of country players that just will play through lots of different lines, but I don't sit down and learn lots of subconscious lines, so it's just a case of coming up with whatever you can think of and sing through in your mind. So anyway, that was that, my own version of a honky tonk country jams. And yeah, thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up and giving us this honky tonk bit of fun at the end of the live stream. Thank you, Joe, for sending that through to me. And yeah, thank you guys for joining me tonight and hitting that thumbs up, because it is massively appreciated. It means that we've got a new record for tonight for a Tuesday night live stream, so that's great as well, that we have managed to achieve that. Right, I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow night, an analysis video, and another one on Friday, of course, live streaming Saturday night, same time, same place, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So that's where I will be. If you guys can join me then, that would be great. We'll be going for a new record of likes on Saturday as well, so we need every person possible to attend. But thank you for all of the donations tonight. And Tom donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Tom. And the message was, always enjoy your analysis and your personal comments. Thanks for Lizzie. And that was Tom's first donation in the super chat window. So thank you for that, Tom, because it has a big number 1 next to it. So I'm going to be calling things to a close. All that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!